Hello and welcome back to another Wednesday live stream, and I'm very excited to have some special friends with me today joining me. First off, down below me, I've got Mr. Disembodied Voice here helping me with the stream.
Hello.
And with us, we've got the fantastic couple from Tried and True, the lovely Erica and the pretty good Andy.
Yeah, he's pretty good. He's pretty good.
And the not quite as lovely Andy.
Only the ladies get the cams today.
Right.
Hi, everybody. Hey, Miranda.
Hey, so happy you got to join me today. I've been meaning to catch up with you anyway, so this is a great excuse to do it, like, you know, dual purpose or whatever, because Warmachine is seemingly on a pretty big upswing, and I think that you two are incredibly responsible for it. So, let's talk. And not to speak down on the rest of the community, obviously, like everybody's coming together, but you guys have been running events for years, and obviously we've seen you at Nova and Adepticon, and just came back from Boker Brawl, and I assume you do the Warmachine weekend thing. Like, you're on it.
Oh, thank you. First off, thank you so much for inviting us back. Hi, everybody on the YouTube. No, it's really been great seeing this thing blow up over the past couple of years, especially since coming out of COVID, where a lot of the communities here in this area and just in general really died and came back. But it's really been a community effort between the community finder website that my brother and Dan helped build, the battle reports, the event coordinating, the steamrollers, just everything. It's really been a collaborative community effort, and we wouldn't be where we're at today if it wasn't for everybody who's been helping us out and supporting. So we're very thankful for that.
Also, yeah, everybody listening, if you are looking for Warmachine battle reports, Tried and True puts them out.
They do. They're actually regular, and they're up to date, and they're competitive, and they're good, and they're interesting.
Yeah.
We do that.
We try at least once a month. Yeah. But they've been a lot of fun. We're actually looking to film our next one at our Top Deck Steamroller that's taking place at the end of the month. So I love filming on the road because it gives us an opportunity to film armies and players that aren't immediate locally in our area. So it's a really great way to get new armies and players and perspectives on the channel. So I'm pretty excited.
Anybody in Jersey wants to be on the channel, now's your time.
Paint your stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think the last battle report there were two pink armies, pink cricks.
Yeah.
Like, well, that's
versus
bold.
Pink Chimera. Yeah, it was very bright.
Very bright.
It was really cool though. It was I remember filming that one and the one we did previously with the Maelstrom and the Abyssal King. They were just fun to film. And they were interesting games to watch too, which really helps. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun with all the new models and the designs, and I don't know, it's been a good time. My brother, so not only does he do the community finder site and maintain it, he designs all of our tables for the most part. So all that 3D stuff that you see at our steamrollers at the conventions on the channel, that's from him. So
he loves doing themed terrain.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's working on some really cool tables that we're really excited to share at Nova this year. So if you're coming, last year he did the big Scorn tables. This year we've got some bangers coming out that we're excited to share.
No, that does sound really exciting. I guess since you already mentioned it, I did put a link in the video description for the YouTube, at least, the community finder. So that's the one that Erica's brother made, that anyone in the world can find another Warmachine player. So, you know, if you feel like you're alone in the world, check the community finder to see if it's true or not. And you have events on there now.
We do. So it's, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good. I was going to say even Paul found somebody near him in England.
Yeah. So the site, yes. So it lists established gaming groups and clubs. And then if you're looking to play, we've got like a flag option, looking for a group. And recently in the past year or so, we've started adding conventions that feature Warmachine and large events. So if you're looking for an Iron Gauntlet qualifier, we try and add those on there as well.
I love it. Let me see if I can pull it up here because it is rather I mean, it's kind of fun to just play around in, you know? You're like, ooh, there's a map. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if I'm the only one who feels that way.
it's been really incredible and humbling just seeing all those pings showing up across the world. Because originally it was just we were just going to do the United States, and then my brother so many inquiries from all across the world. We're like, yes, we'll just put everybody on there and see what happens. And we've got a few hundred at this point, so it's awesome. It's great seeing that thing grow.
Nice. Let's see here. So there it is. Community. The whole wide world. Aw, sorry, Greenland.
The other thing that we like to include too is if you go to the breakdown, we like to we ask for pictures of people's gaming clubs so you can see the space that they play in, you can see the armies, or have a general idea of what the place looks like on the outside.
Matthew, the one person in Albuquerque.
Someone help Matthew out.
Someone help Matthew. Tulsa used to have a pretty big community. Dice Addiction. All right. Good old Tulsa, bringing it back. But yeah, you can definitely tell it's become a coastal game. We've got. Is there an East Coast, West Coast like rivalry yet?
Oh, there's definitely different metas. The South is very different. Like the way they play the game, it's really interesting because we're going to see the Siege Invitational, which is in Tennessee, right, lady?
It's in Nashville, right outside Nashville this
Tennessee,
year.
and it's just a culture shock to play the game with people who play it a little bit differently in different areas.
Nice. Yeah, Tennessee Warmachine. Oh, that's exciting. No, it's smooth. I like how. So if somebody is trying to add themselves, what they just have to like sign up or something?
I think if you scroll down, either submitting a group or if you scroll, maybe that's what it is. Submitting a group. Yeah, it's a Google form that you can fill out.
Oh, there you go. Well, that's awesome. I love it.
Thank you. And then any updates people have for the site, they can email. There's an email address there. And full disclosure, we sometimes get a lot of hits on that site. We update it when we can. But if it's something like urgent, like, hey, I have an event or something showing up, we try and prioritize those. But
okay. No, that seems perfectly reasonable. No, Jerry, thanks for pointing out. Poor Flo is not joining us tonight. She decided that she would have a horrible sinus headache. She involuntarily decided to have one of those. So this is where. Shut up, Paul. Yes. So okay, cool. So and then you mentioned the custom tables. So is he 3D? I guess is he 3D modeling a lot of these pieces?
Yeah, he's got we recently invested in a new 3D printer for the group essentially, which is at Paul's house, and he's doing a lot of the 3D printing himself right now. So he's chugging through. I'm not sure whether you heard about the new STL program that SFG is doing with Warmachine right now.
My understanding of it is you can get a starter. I think it's a Cephalix army, but you can get like a starter army that you can 3D print, and the rolls are free, so you can literally kind of just get into the game at very minimal cost. And then if you want to expand on that army, then that's when you would start buying models.
Well, it's not just that. They have a whole suite of all kinds of customized terrain for different armies and different biomes and stuff like that. So they're still starting to roll that out. They're doing a lot of Gravedigger stuff right now.
The trenches and such.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and cricks. So I think with Gravediggers, they have the Ghost Dog skins essentially for your jacks. So you can print off. I think they do that with cricks too, where you can print off different arms and legs arms and heads that you can put on your warjack to give it additional
flavor,
like a little more character.
Yeah, flavor. Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha,
that's cool.
Gotcha. No, I like that. I mean, actually add some customization, encourage the hobby part of it.
Yeah. And to go out with the tables too. So my brother also does some traditional like craft with it as well. So I don't know if you remember the old No Quarter magazines. Yeah, like the how to make like he did docks out of popsicle sticks. And he did a lot of not just 3D printing, but we did Carver Town a few months ago on a battle report. And there's some additional terrain that we didn't feature in that battle report that we'll have at Nova that is like hand done.
Oh, cool.
Like old school style terrain, which is great in that environment because it's got that grungy kind of worn down feel too. It's not as clean.
So wait,
Just
what is
perfect.
with foam and popsicle sticks, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Well,
What
you
is that
can weather
setting?
it different. What's that?
what is that setting? Cable Town?
Carver Town. It's like a
Carver
Mad
Town.
Max looking table.
Yeah, it's like a shanty town of like
Is that like Lord
dystopia.
Carver? Is that
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh,
the
okay.
pharaoh.
So
And
is it a pharaoh town, or is the
Mhm.
lore advanced to where he's like the mayor of
It's
some
a pharaoh town with a
Cadoran town
giant
or
Carver
something?
statue in the middle of it.
Oh, nice. I always
Well, I
like
kind of like
really
where the
liked
lore went with
Carver.
that then.
yeah, and then one of the tables that we're going to try to feature on a battle report, again, you'll see it at Nova, is a Cephalix medical lab, where it looks like a cross between Resident Evil 2, Silent Hill, and Cephalix. It's really cool, where he did lighting effects for the vats and things like that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's it's really cool. It's
Yeah.
really cool.
Never did I think we would need underlighting for Warmachine games, but here
Yeah.
we are.
Of course you need, well, for Cephalix. Yeah, especially.
Or a Convergence of Cirrus.
Yeah.
It's definitely an underlighting table style.
Yeah.
I want to say they had something like that at God, it was like LVO.
LVO,
years
that's
ago.
Tyson. Yeah, that's Tyson's table. He has it's got moving gears on it.
Yes,
It's really,
yeah.
really cool in lighting effects. He did the Cephalix
Yeah, I
table.
saw that one.
I think he has a Grimkin table, and maybe it's a Crucible Guard table. I think he's got at least one more that's got lights and mechanical effects on it. It's really cool.
Do you guys have little fog machines yet for the table?
Not yet. Hey, Riker, shout out
No.
to Battle Driven.
Riker,
That
you
is
don't
a
want to play
great
with fog
podcast.
machines. You know
Highly
you don't
recommend.
want to play with fog machines. That's a bad idea.
Not a real fog machine, but they have ones that are kind of designed for miniatures now. What is it? It's a different material, right? Tell me, we
Like a different different chemical, I think.
yeah.
It's one
You
that
don't get that
is
residue.
less corrosive on the models.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're tiny things, and so they're almost just vape pens, right? But they're
Just to
made
give you
just to put like a
enough
little
mist.
bit of yeah.
It is. But yeah, no, what you brought to Nova last year was phenomenal, and I'm excited to see that
Oh, thank you.
you're able to have that. Is it going to be a bigger event this year? Do we have you in a bigger space?
Yeah, so we got moved back upstairs to the Columbia. So we're back in the big room with some of the bigger game systems. We actually have a designated streaming space this year with a hard plug-in.
Hardwire. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So
Ooh,
want
nice.
to shout out to Ice King. I think he's here as well.
Yes,
if
he is.
if he's going to be around on the weekend, he will be streaming on that table. So we're very excited to have him back at Nova
Yeah.
to help share that good Warmachine stuff.
So much stuff happening.
I'm not even entirely sure what this means, but I like it.
I think it just becomes a smoke machine if you try hard enough. I don't know about a fog machine. Like, let's redefine that language. Well, you saw the keynote then at Adepticon. Were you actually there when that
We
happened?
were.
Oh, we
were.
very much were.
Yeah, we very much were.
Erica
there we
was
go.
kind of there.
I was having fun. I haven't seen some friends in a while, but no, it was great. It was a lot. It was great. The energy in the room, everyone was so excited.
It's great to
awesome.
look at the guys on the stage and they're just as excited as you are sitting in the crowd, because they're super excited to be announcing this kind of stuff and really proud of what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, it was it was kind of one of those like Christmas, I don't know, Santa bags of keynotes. It's like, wait, there's more. Here's another thing. Here's another thing.
Yeah,
And
and
it's like kind of overwhelming. Like it feels like a very, very ambitious roadmap they've laid out for themselves for this year and I guess first quarter of next year. But I mean, what were some of your highlights from that? Or your favorite things that you might have been most excited about? Like I thought the physical rule set and the ability to get printed cards was awesome. I loved the 3D printed models and the fact that they were embracing terrain and letting that be 3D printed. Super cool.
Oh yeah, 100%.
They, I guess, are rejiggered the app, so there's more lore that you can read, and like the pay for stuff accesses more things, but you're not closed out of the lore. I think now.
I think from a business perspective, it was really smart thing to do, to basically do a yearly thing for the app, get everybody, get some capital in now, and then do another subscription for the STLs. That way you have multiple streams of revenue, essentially, besides just selling new models all the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
That's the bane of every miniatures game, right? Where it's like, if their only revenue stream is just selling new models all the time, you have really bad
SKU bloat.
yeah, you have bad motivations for the health of your game, essentially.
No,
Yeah.
I agree. It's
Good way of putting
it's
it.
kind of one of the things that really killed it from the perspective of a lot of game store owners.
Mhm.
And obviously we talk about that a lot on these live shows, since we're, all of us either play or have played Warmachine for a while. But I've always been a big fan of just, doing resculpts, doing new versions of stuff, things like that, instead of just constant new models that have their own rules,
Well, Mini Crate was kind of that, right?
Yes. Yeah, I thought Mini Crate was a good idea, actually.
And they're still doing Mini Crate, and on this My Mini Factory, they have alternate sculpts of warcasters and other characters that you can print off as well, which has been really cool.
Oh, nice. Yeah, actually, I couldn't remember if Mini Crate had still been going on. And so they're on My Mini Factory. There was another one they mentioned too, I thought, that you could. Is it a Patreon?
I don't know if it's a Patreon. I know that there's the subscription. So there's the app subscription where
Right.
if you get the year, it gets you the anniversary model that comes out that year, which is the 80 mil and the solo. I think it's Cephalix theme this year. And then there's the subscription on My Mini Factory, which I think the first month was free. Don't quote me on that, but I think they had some sort of promotion going on where you could get the Cephalix cadre and access to these custom bases, defenses, terrain sets. It was really cool.
Through a tribe. Oh, I guess that's what they call this subscription. I don't know what tribe is supposed to mean in this context, but
I don't know what the kids say anymore.
I don't know. I can't keep up with it.
The tribe. Aren't you supposed to always find your tribe?
Well,
That
I
if you're
mean,
a person online, you always, they're no longer, subscribers or followers or anything. That's your tribe. That's what I always hear that language used for.
I think they're partnering
Jeez,
with
that's a lot of
with a mat company too, right?
Oh yeah, they're the few companies. So Baron of Dice, they have the faction dice now. There's a mat company that they're working with. It was in the keynote. There's 4 vendors that they listed on there.
Yeah, I remember Dice Baron or Baron of Dice being on there and doing their Kadoran, or I'm sorry, all their faction dice.
Dude, the Kador dice are sick. I think they're my favorite of the first run of dice that came out. I really like the Kador dice.
I've been buying Baron of Dice 40K dice just because it matched some of my logos. So I've been buying their dice for a couple years now. They're good stuff.
Yeah, the last time I was at I guess Nova in this case, I bought more. Every time I'm there, I'm buying dice. Half the time it's for Paul. I'm like, here, I found these for you. So there's that. So, okay. So as one of the big things they mentioned in the keynote, and I know you'd mentioned that there was also an Ask Me Anything kind of panel, and I'm not familiar with what all was discussed in that. So you can definitely mention that. But for the keynote, they talked about like these 3 pillars of the game where they have like casual play and hobby and tournament play. So like, how are you seeing that, I guess, reflected in your meta? Like you're seeing, I mean, you mentioned recently like the Boker Brawl, a bunch of people showed up but nobody was angry at each other, which is nice. But are you seeing more like embracing of a casual play? Does the game play casually pretty well, or is it still like, punch your teeth in as fast as possible kind of thing?
I think the low point scenarios that sort of have been crowd made, they're not really SFG made, are really, really well done. Like the Brawl Machine stuff is really good, small, bite-sized games.
How many points is that? Like 25 or?
I think it's 50.
50.
Right? Yeah.
50.
50.
Okay.
So it's like a half a game. I won't
That
say
sounds right.
every.
I like 50 points.
Yeah, I won't say every army or every model scales down to 50 really, really well.
Okay.
There's definitely some things that are probably a little bit you probably shouldn't play in Brawl Machine just because it might be a little like hard to counter.
Might be a little mean.
Yeah, exactly. But in the spirit of a casual game, I think they're well balanced and fun scenarios. I think they do a good job.
Okay. And so when you're, I don't know, like you normally show up at a game store every so often, you see new people come in and you're like, here, come play this 50-point low level game. Like,
I think starting at 30 is probably the best option. Just because 30 is like a Warcaster, a dude, and a Warjack or something like that, just to give you like
just not really dealing with units. Just
yeah, it's there's so much in this game that's like you get too much in the weeds if you introduce too much too fast, I think. where it's
The
like
layers
learn-
go deep.
Yeah, just learn how a Warcaster works, learn how Focus works, learn how Fury works, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. The with some of the other pillar stuff, so like the hobby stuff, which I really like that they're doing, is the command cards that they're printing off that you can get if you're at one of these conventions and you take a
Oh, that's
picture of your
right.
army and it's painted, you have a chance of having your models and that picture printed on a card for the following year or
Oh,
show, which is really
that's
cool.
fun.
Right. No, that's a really
Um,
nice community tool, right? Of like, one, it encourages people to paint their models. Sorry, Warmachine crowd, you had a rep. Sorry.
It's getting better. I mean, it is
It
getting
seems like
better.
it is, yeah.
So, like for IG, for the Iron Gauntlet, if it's a SFG sanctioned event, like you have to be painted for that.
What are the painting standards? Like, is it like a 3-color minimum thing or just
Yeah,
no silver?
And base, and I think you have to be based
it
as
has
well.
to be base 3-color minimum.
Oh, okay. So not nothing crazy.
Yeah, yeah. And
Make them not a wall of gray.
yeah. And I also think the more 3D terrain that we're seeing, not just at the conventions, but at the game shops, at the steamrollers and things like that, that's also been helping out a whole lot as well. Because it just looks prettier and it invites more people in. Even when we play at the brewery, we're always using 3D stuff, and it's just it's head turning versus just having flats.
No, that used to be my biggest advice. I'd always, a lot of people would talk about like, well, how do you get more people to play Warmachine? And my answer was always put out your battle engines, put out your big cool stuff. Like just put out the coolest looking stuff you got. And then when people walk by your table, they're like, what is that? Instead of, play your flat terrain and have off your stuff unpainted. You know what I mean? It's like
when I started
that alone
the
changes
game,
it.
Everything was all flat terrain. So it took me a while to come around to the 3D stuff where I'm like, no, it's not perfectly measurable. How would we ever play the game? And now I've completely come around to I think
the answer's easier with more players.
Yeah, exactly. Totally agree. I've completely come around. I think 3D terrain is so much more flavorful and enjoyable to play with, even if it's a little finicky to measure.
Yeah, the so to echo what you were talking about, Tommy, too, with the battle engines and the colossals. One thing I really like that SFG's been doing is re-engineering a lot of these big models where the Maelstrom we noticed right away when Rick ordered his and put it together is it comes apart at the torso. So it's much easier to transport versus some of the older sculpts that PP would do, where their engineering team is knocking it out of the park right now with how these arms and legs are seating on the cohort models, these huge models that are a nightmare sandwich to transport. Like, it's great that they're getting that feedback and incorporating that in their design choices.
Yeah,
so which model was that again?
The Maelstrom is the colossal for Storm Legion, and basically it's magnetized at the hips, so you can take the whole top half off the bottom half. Okay. It's really well done. My poor fat Abyssal King is like one giant hunk of resin, and I'm like, I don't know how to transfer this thing anywhere. I can't get it on. We
has to get on the plane, get like one of those pet carriers. We just put the Abyssal King in there and carry it on the plane.
No pet carriers. He's gonna be on my lap. That's where he's gonna be.
Well, you can put him in a pet carrier as long as you're also playing sounds out of it with your phone. Just various sounds that he might make.
Oh my goodness. Let me see. I can show off the Maelstrom here. I think I got him. Bloop. That big boy?
Yeah. So that guy comes apart, right? Like as Andy was saying, at the hip, and it's much easier to transport than what we saw with the Mastodon, the first iteration of that when that model came out.
So what is that? Is that an 80 mil base?
No, that's a 120.
That's a 120.
This is a 120? Okay.
That's a big boy.
He is a big boy. Nice. Look at his real head. Oh, and there's his butt.
The other thing that I've really liked with when they're showing off pictures of models, we saw this at Adepticon, the keynote, and up in the display case are painted miniatures.
Yeah, not concept art.
Right, or not just the 3D renders of stuff. Like they're knocking it out of the park with what they're doing this year. It's really exciting.
When it came to the just amount of future stuff that's not even able to be purchased yet that they brought to Adepticon just to show off and just say, look at what we're working on, was really impressive.
Well, it seems like a lot of enthusiasm behind it. They actually probably rushed to try to make sure it was all painted and make sure it was all presentable instead of just sort of printing it out and putting it in a case.
Well, I mean, there's a certain amount of, I don't know, I don't want to say it's like damage control, but like in having the under new management banner for Warmachine, you know, they were trying to reach back out to a lot of disaffected fans and people who became exhausted with the game. And I think they had to make very obvious overtures to show that they were not going to act in the same way that everyone complained about of you know, too much model churn and you're seeing 3D, like just that kind of stuff in general does a lot to show like you're putting your best foot forward, and it does show effort on their end. Like they're taking it seriously. It's not just an IP they're gonna pump and dump or whatever.
Yeah, I'm sorry you guys couldn't make Adepticon. Their storefront at Adepticon was very nice. It was they ton of product. Everything was super simple, clean. Everything's on its own little shelf, and saying everything's organized by faction, and saying they have two demo tables up front where people are just like playing just like dude versus a colossal game, you know, kind of just rolling dice. Just
I remember way back in the day of Adepticon, like when I was going in like the 2010s, they had these little 2x2 like podiums of Warmachine demos right outside the 40K hall.
Yeah, like as you walked out, the little space between the sets of double doors, they're literally standing right there in between the double doors.
Did you just lose a game and are you mad? Come play with us.
Yes.
Yes. Which you'd mentioned from the Community Finder, how much international reach it seems to have gotten to. I remember Warmachine having some love in the European market, but it was just really difficult to get models. And so I guess with Steamforged Games being a European company, maybe that hurdle has been overcome.
I don't know if they're, and Andy, you might know this, I don't know if they're distributing, like they have a North American distribution area and then like printing models, print shops, and then over in the UK as well. And I think that might help contribute to the product actually being able to get out to players' hands. And on that note too, with the resin and this hip stuff that they're using, it's again, like compared to when this thing first rolled out a couple years ago, it's just leaps and bounds ahead of what we were when this.
No, going to the high
launched.
impact polystyrene is very good. I think that was a great call.
And to answer Paul here, they did say they had some method of having pre-drilled barrels. So I don't know what that is, but it's some sort of, as they described it, new technology.
Well, it's like, so normally you can't do negative space inside like inside of like small areas when it comes to hips, right? Everything's got to get poured into a mold. So I don't know how they would do that.
Well, you can't have overhangs was the big thing,
too.
right? It all has to have a slight I forgot what it's called now, a slight angle of grade where everything can pull out, and if there's any overhang at all, then it's mechanically locked. Because you know, resin and in fact even white metal, you pour into a rubber mold, so there's some give, and so you can have a little flexibility, whereas the high impact polystyrene is injection molded into aluminum molds, and so like, you know, it's just a hard plastic against a metal mold, so you can't have any overhang at all. So I don't know what they're doing with it. I'm really curious to know how they're doing the little pre-drilled barrels.
I'm not going to pretend to know. I just know that the bayonets on the Lakabash brothers that I got that was hips have stabbed me multiple times at this point. They're sharp as all hell.
Jeff's got a draft angle. I couldn't remember it. I knew that phrase. Thanks, Jeff.
Yes, thank you. All right. So I mean, that's really positive. They seem to have their manufacturing down. Are you seeing game stores holding it? Like, I guess obviously if you're going to Warmachine themed conventions, you mentioned one of the game stores, they had a really large stock.
In Maryland by us, Critical Hit Games, I think they're in where are they at?
Abington.
Yeah, they're in Abington. They got a lot of product. I don't think there's really one in Delaware. I know Portal up in PA is getting a lot of product in and out. they're selling a
Mhm.
lot of stuff?
I think they're part of that new stockist program. So something that's really cool that SFG is doing is, I don't know if you guys are familiar with that program or had seen
Mm-mm.
anything come out from Gamma on that. So they're really supportive of getting product back in the stores, supporting your local gaming store.
Right.
So the program is basically like you order a product, and let's say you have something that's just sitting on the shelf, you can swap that stuff out. So like Gravediggers is selling like crazy right now because that's the new army. So let's say you have, sorry, Andy, you got Brine Blood sitting on the
Hey.
shelf. It's not moving at all. You can do a 1-for-1 swap on your box. So that's been helping stuff just not sitting on the
Oh,
shelves like
interesting.
back in the day.
Wow, that
No,
that
we're
has
we're
got
not
to
part
make
of the. Yeah, we're not part of this. We're not promising anything here. This is just from memory.
Yeah, and just some other, I forget, maybe it was Arcane Precision. I think it was John and Kyle's podcast. They had somebody, a vendor, come on who attended Gamma. That was really informative on kind of how this stockist program's working.
I mean, if it works that way, like you're saying, then that's got to be a huge boost to confidence for game stores. Like they don't have to worry about just dead stock, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And that was a problem back in the day with this SKU bloat. You would just have models just sitting on the shelf, not moving at all.
For
It wasn't even SKU bloat necessarily. It was just there are so many things that that I always bring it up where it's like you can always find an excuse to buy another box of Space Marines. So if you put Space Marines on the shelf, they will get sold. Whereas, if the Black 13th is on the shelf, you can buy one of them. And if no one else plays Signar, then that'll just sit there forever until some other Signar player comes in and buys them.
I like it's a very modern take on just how the whole miniatures market's working right now, and I like that they're thinking outside the box. Like it feels very modern to me compared to traditional selling board games or minis or any product really.
No, I remember a few years back at Valhalla, I was chatting with another Warmachine fan, and we were talking about what we would do with the company if we were to buy it. This was, of course, before
the acquisition.
Before Steamforge actually did it. But and one of the things was that we were talking about was I think in today's age you do need to put some printable product out there, like as a loss leader. But if they're just STLs, then they're not that much of a loss leader. You did pay your sculptor to kind of change poses and probably add some scaffolding for the print. But that's it. After that, it's everyone else's materials, and you're getting them to jump in and play. And I think GW doesn't have to do it, but because that's just the nature of miniatures. But I think every other company, I feel like this is kind of the direction they'll probably all start taking. I think it's such a like you said, the new way that it works now.
Trench Crusade had a really big open with that. I don't think their approach to it was kind of too much. Like, here's everything as a 3D printable STL. Like, I think the way Steamforge is doing it, it's actually really smart. Where they're like, well, here's your starter army, but if you're going to be invested in the game, then be invested in supporting the game company that made the game. Like, here's so much free off the bat to try it, and if you like it, then it shouldn't feel like a bad investment or waste your time or whatever to spend however much money on a box over time. Are you seeing like slow grow leagues coming back? I know that journeyman leagues were a thing way back when.
What we've seen is more of the community driven journeyman leagues where there's like a product floating there online or out there online. We had posted up something similar on our Discord and our Patreon that people could pool, and then you modify however you want. But between like the Brawl Machine, I don't know if there's a slow grow league in the app right now, but it is on.
They're doing one on WarTable right now.
Oh yeah. So we have to talk about WarTable too, and how that's been huge for the growth of the game. So I'm a shout out to Joe, Tyrants on the Field. He hosts the North American WarTable League, aka the NOL, which I think is one of the largest online leagues probably in the world right now. And
It's just
WarTable.
WarTable.com. And now I'm trying to remember.
I think
what
it's
it was.
WarTable.com. If you like rolling ones and twos, I'll tell you what, WarTable is the place for you. But
Miranda's really good at that.
Yeah, I saw your YouTube short on that. I was like, I guess it rolls badly.
I mean, sometimes it either rolls like 14s or like 2 dice 5s.
It acts like dice, and you can't handle that.
WarTable.online.
Yeah. So first off, kudos to the WarTable team, because those guys, as soon as something hits the app, like it is on that website right away. Brad Park designed some really great maps on there that we use, but that is a free online resource that you can go on and play. So if you're trying to get into the game, or you want to learn a new army and you want to kind of play around with it before you buy, try before you buy, it is a great tool. Joe runs a monthly league. I think he's running 2 this month. One's the Journeyman League that Andy mentioned, and then the Null itself, which is 100-point. I think we have. Oh, that's my cat. Sorry, my cat just knocked everything down. You okay, Mama?
Party foul.
Come here.
A dust devil.
Good girl.
How do you? Oh.
Um,
I see.
But yeah, so if you go to load scenario, just hit or if you go load map, if you X out of there, and then you can hit random, it'll load a scenario and a whole map for you. And then you're just good to start playing.
Still no terrain in the deployment zone. What the heck?
They're trying to make things playable,
Yeah, so that's been a great way to connect with people across the country, and internationally. We've had people from all over the world come in and play in the league. So it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. Jerry's asking, does anyone know what happened to Ashlyn DeLise? We're 18 years in the future now?
Somewhere around there. I know in the AMA they did mention her and that she's alive. That's all I got.
She's like a teenager in Mark 3 or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
She's probably, in her 30s, 40s, and probably worse for the wear.
Probably. She I feel like lived a hard life.
Wait, which one was that?
Ashlyn DeLise, the friend
the
Lily.
Leilise. Yeah.
The revolutionary.
I would love a Lily's army. I'd cross my fingers for that one.
Well, I mean, with the way they've broken down the factions now, it seems like that is likely.
It's too bad because as we were going in the last version, you kind of could start making one. Like they kept introducing more and more little things you could do, and you could field kind of an entire Leilise army.
I don't know what you're talking about. I just rolled an 11.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
Miranda comes in just effortlessly. Yeah, that's fine. Seems good.
But yeah, so I mean, if anybody is in the chat or watching this and is interested, the league is open to anybody. Anyone can join any skill level. We have Joe's doing that escalation league right now. I think it started at 30 points and then 50 and eventually 100. And then we have people that are available that will just hop on with you and do a tutorial with you online, teach you how to use
almost every day in our Discord you'll have multiple games going on at some point during the day of just people playing WarTable.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if you're just wanting to hone your skill, make sure you know the rules. It seems really useful for that.
Oh, definitely. Just getting practice into armies that might not be in your local meta, stuff like that, where it's just like, oh, I don't have a Crix player. Can someone who plays Crix play me in this environment? That kind of thing. Just
to be one. And I guess with WarTable, since it's all browser-based, you don't need Tabletop Simulator.
Nope. Yeah, exactly. It's just click and drag.
Hey, Patty's on.
Patty. Welcome, Patty. I guess they got a few other games on here. Oh, you can play Warmachine Mark III on here on WarTable too.
I don't know how well that's been kept up, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, I'm not. Well, I mean, how much would you keep it up, really?
Yeah.
Guild Ball and Malifaux 3rd edition. Oh, nice. So I remember way back, like the Malifaux and Warmachine metas would oftentimes be sat next to each other. Not metas, but like tournaments for actual conventions. So I wonder how that's doing, if that can happen again, because those are very different aesthetics, and so I feel like they're fun.
I saw last Adepticon. I saw a bunch of other side, but I didn't see a whole lot of people playing it. Unfortunately, that's the Malifaux like big army
RPG?
version, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
The other side. Yeah, that sounds right.
but yeah, it looks cool. I didn't see a huge presence for it, unfortunately.
Do you know if so I guess so you're hosting events at Nova and you held events at Adepticon, right? Like you ran the
No,
we
yeah.
just played at Adepticon.
You just played it. Oh, okay, gotcha. So, but you are running the events at Nova. Do you know if at Adepticon were you seeing like painting competitions for Warmachine models like that are dedicated? Like this is the Warmachine painting competition?
Yeah, SFG did. They hosted a painting competition. I think they had different categories for model sizes. Like I think 80s and Colossals were in their own category.
Okay.
And then as you submitted stuff, they would put it in their display case in their store, which was really cool.
Oh.
But that was separate from like the Golden Demon.
Well, yeah, Golden
You can
Demon.
only do
yeah,
Games Workshop
separate.
for Golden Demon.
Totally separate. But I know there's other types of painting competitions and all that happen. Do you, not to put you on the spot, but do you know if there'll be any sort of painting competition this year for Nova?
I have to check with SFG to see if they're doing. We always do a painting or a picture competition for Tried and True at Nova, where we have you use one of our awesome thematic tables, set up your army, and take a cool Iron Kingdoms picture.
Okay.
Which has been a lot of fun.
Nice. I guess they are still supporting the RPG as well, Iron Kingdoms. So do you guys end up playing that at all?
We did a couple years back. We haven't been into it in a little while. I know they released a Kickstarter for what was it?
The Strangelight Workshop.
Strangelight Archive or Strangelight Workshop. Yeah, it's like a Scooby-Doo adventure kind of thing.
Yeah, no, they had that.
What is that, like a module for the RPG? Is that what it is, or?
Yeah, it's like an expansion for it.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I don't know. I know I'm sure they're still working on it. I'm not as familiar with the current workings of it right now.
I mean, it's a lot to keep up with. Like RPGs take up a lot of time too, and tabletop games. There's acquiring the minis or printing them. And there's painting them, playing with them, and for you guys, it's even more busy because it seems like you're always contributing to and or assembling events. So.
Yeah, and this year we're traveling to a lot of events and playing. Like I think we're gone pretty much every weekend in June for an event. Between like the Siege Invitational and local tournaments. So, because we like to play too. It's fun to host, but at the end of the day, we also really, really love playing this game.
I can't wait till the one on what we're doing May 31st. It's a regular steamroller. We're just running a regular old steamroller. It's been a while.
Yeah.
So what are you running normally instead? Because when I was playing, it was only steamroller.
Well, so go ahead, lady.
Oh no, go ahead, babe.
We do the fundraiser one we do in February for the Food Bank of Delaware is a sort of it's sort of a what do you call it? This year it was you printed off a whole bunch of feet.
Oh yeah, so the theme that's right. So the theme this year was Feet Machine. So shout out to ChatGPT. ChatGPT came up with some very, very funny feats. And Chris Gunther also came up with a couple of bangers. So they were random feats. So you could donate $1 to draw a feat, essentially. Some of them were garbage and some of them were like really broken. There was some feats that affected like the entire event. So I think it was like
everybody in the room loses their upkeeps. It's just
like everybody.
Like, boom. Yeah. At that very moment, no matter where you are
in the room. Like not even at that table.
And then there was another one where it was like you could trade feats with anybody that was playing like to your left or right of you or across from you. Like if you wanted Harusk's feat and you had a Harusk player playing next to you, you could just take his feat for the game. It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Okay, that's very chaotic, but yeah, that was fun. And I do remember Food Machine where you'd like pay in cans or whatever to get rerolls was what I remembered. But
it's a lot harder to do that nowadays. We just do the old what do you call it, the receipt thing. You scan a thing, you donate.
QR code. Yeah.
Code.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of it's like
straight to the food bank.
Yeah, because a lot of it's like the logistical issues of moving, because we truck our own terrain to these events. So it's to carry food back as well. It's just
Yeah, we don't need
logistically
to
not in
rent
the
a
cards.
U-Haul for a
Yeah.
couple pallets of cans.
No, that makes sense. So you mentioned and Ask Me Anything, an AMA, what, on Reddit, I assume? Is that where those are? For
It
War
was
Machine
so
people?
yeah. So historically, they have been on Reddit. This one was on the Wargamer Discord.
Oh, okay.
And it was held last Thursday. It was in the middle of the workday for me, so I just had like my phone up and peeked at it every now and then.
Anything juicy?
If you like some lore stuff, they did a lot of like little updates on like where certain characters are. I know they went into Karchev. They went into
Well, Karchev
Is he still
Death Jack now?
Carjack?
So that was not canon. Apparently, none of the Riot Quest stuff is canon.
Oh, good.
I am not upset about that at all.
I don't think many
Okay.
people are. That was a little too goofy, I think.
Yeah.
They had pictures of some old Umbre models coming out, and
Some
what was
Kithgard.
it? The Hell,
We got some new
Kithgard
trolls.
and the Hellraker,
Can-
I think, whatever
Can
that.
we go in on the idea that the
Muscle.
Hengehold scrolls are also not canon?
I think they might be soft kind of massaging that a little bit. Now that they own the lore, they're probably going to take some inspiration from it, but maybe not 100%. That would be my assumption.
That's fine. It was vaguely written enough to be like,
Exactly.
what happened
When you're writing a
after.
story
Right.
via tweet, it's just like, okay.
This is the ravings of a bizarre homeless man.
He was. Henschel is totally just a lunatic.
He's just tweeting on his Obama phone.
On fentanyl somewhere, like raving.
But the definitely the release schedule is really ambitious. So with the AMA in conjunction to the keynote, like we're looking at getting between 3 and 4 new armies a year.
A year.
Yes.
Yeah, which
Oof,
is
that's a lot.
it's very ambitious.
Mhm. So like
And the typical army release is that like a good 100-point list or something? Like, what does that look like?
What's
so
an army look like? So it's usually like
the command starter box, which is it's a warcaster and the characters or majority of the characters that are in an army. So you just need to buy the command box. That's it. You don't have to buy multiple ones. Then there's like the core aux box.
So usually there's 4 boxes as part of an army. There's the battle group box, which is a caster and 2 cohort models. Like that's just a caster, 2 cohorts. Then the character box, like Erica just said, is usually a caster and the unit of everything that's just you need one of. It's the solos, the character unit, so you never have to buy more than one of those boxes. Then you'll have a core box and an aux box. Those are your big boxes.
Yeah, so Warmachine type, it's like core expansion, aux, battle group box.
Okay.
Is where you find that stuff. So like this year, for example, you're talking about army releases. We had Gravediggers, I think, kicked us off. On the AMA, Cephalix is getting a like re-release.
Yeah, that
and a
seems
Mark
to be...
IV makeover. We have old Umbri coming out. I think that's supposed to start
Those
shipping
models
next
look
month.
so good.
They look sick. I
was very excited. Now, admittedly, and Tommy and I talked about it, it's like it's very strong Circle of Boros vibes.
It's Khador Circle is what it looks like, yeah.
It's Khador Circle, yeah.
And then later this year is Kithgard, which is the new troll army coming out.
They're like the southern continent jungle contingent of the trolls. So far the spoilers for that have been very like Rambo-esque.
Yeah, they look like jungly, and the beasts look like they've taken at least the concept art that they've showed looks like they're taking parts of warjacks from all different factions and using that to make up their armor and their weapons. It's really cool. My favorite's the one troll that's throwing a missile.
Just like a football, or
yes, just flinging a missile.
I don't know. That model speaks to me on a visceral. I love that concept for a model is really cool to me.
No, there's still some. The Virager looks super cute.
Oh, he's awesome. He's my favorite beast right now.
He looks so cute. Oh my gosh! Stop sharing too early. Look at that face.
Yeah. Andy loves the frog models. They're his favorite.
They are my
They're
favorite.
so
They have
cute.
Well, the Croaks were one of the coolest
The
factions.
Croaks
to
are
be real.
great.
Yeah, there's a whole Croak box that's a cadre for the Brian Bloods, and then it's going to be a cadre for the Kithcard as well. So they'll basically work for both factions.
Oh, he's got a good expression on his face
I
too.
know.
Yeah,
He looks
he's had enough
so
of your shit.
unsatisfied. Like you took too long with his order. It's adorable. Oh my gosh, these are great. These fire guardians is that terrain or are those just solo
No,
models?
it's a 1-point solo. It's just a rock. It's literally you put a rock down, and it's an aura of giving magical weapons to your army, and then there's like a little aura of -1 armor to enemy models that enter it. So it's just little pieces that you can sit there, and they're just stationary.
Poor Stephen Williams. He doesn't like it.
It's okay. I've been killed by Andy's frog a bunch of times too.
So
I
Stephen
feel
was
you, Stephen
saying-
Williams.
He was saying that was his expression the other yesterday.
His expression after he took his caster off the table.
But it's been so great just talking at the table on an open play night. There's so much excitement and optimism with all this
Yeah.
stuff that's coming out. It's it's really hard to be in a negative headspace when you have so much excitement and optimism around you. So it's a really exciting time to be playing Warmachine.
Okay.
Always growing. So like if the GW side of the house or whatever, y'all want to come over and hang out and roll dice, it's been great. It's really been great.
The only thing that I don't know, as far as the gameplay goes, the biggest thing that I kind of wish that they had done was just size up everything by one base size. Introduce a 60 mil base, and then all the heavy war jacks or heavy war beasts, like you just scale that model up a little bit and stick them on a 60, and then the light war jacks just put them on a 50. Like I was kind of hoping everything would get a little bit bigger since they're able to do injection molding now. I thought that would be a really cool,
Just,
kind of scale it slightly.
Just play trolls like me. I have nothing below 40 mil. It's fine. It's just an army full of 40 mils. Nothing smaller.
Yeah. I like just so like on the traveling side of the house, it's much more palatable for us to move models like this on a plane because I'm not trying to check my models, right?
Yeah.
But like for traveling purposes, I'm okay with it not getting
We got
much bigger.
Yeah, that's fair, right?
Yeah, the 80 mils have been a challenge. So every army has 80 mil bases now, which are usually either a solo or a beast. Sometimes it's a tank, sometimes it's a balloon, sometimes it's a dragon. But yeah, they're kind of like the big marquee stuff. They're trying to move. I think there's more of those than there are the 120s right now. The 120s are sort of like a one army gets one, basically. It's not like we're trying to make a whole bunch of 120s. They're trying to stick to more of the 80 mil for the big marquee items. It looks like.
Well, I remember really enjoying once Privateer was started going with more and more battle engines, kind of these autonomous 120 mil bases that were running around. Like I actually did kind of enjoy those. I'm curious to see if Steamforge is going to start rolling out some of those guys.
I would expect the 80 mils to kind of take their place. They're like an 80 mil solo is sort of treated like a battle engine in the game right now.
Okay.
Yeah, which I think and we talk about tables and just moving models on said table. So the packet this year, I mean, tables in general just call for more terrain. Scatter terrain is something that got introduced to, which is one of my favorite things about this edition, where you just have little pieces of terrain. We use little farm animals or rocks or trees or whatever.
Well, I remember that last year because you specifically had a farm animal on every table.
Yeah, and then if an 80 or a 120 contacts that piece of terrain, it's destroyed. So with these bigger models, when we're seeing more obstructions, more just more diverse terrain pieces, sometimes it's very hard to navigate these larger models on the table, which the 80s make a really nice compromise for a terrain heavy environment.
I'd always thought that, if the 120 base size models even came into contact with walls, the walls should just be removed from play.
I think that's something they changed in January with Rockwall, which is a spell that I think Sabern has, and I think it's a spell on the Gravedigger rack, where if an 80 or 120 contacts that spell wall, it goes away.
Yeah, I feel like anything that's like a wall or, you know, anything like that, they should just all go away if one of those 120s hits it. Because there was, God, what was it? I forget which one it was, but it didn't have enough movement to make it over a wall because the walls are
Probably a Cadoran Colossal.
Yeah,
Oh, most likely, because they're like
Yeah.
120 is
Speed
like a little
4.
bit more than 5 inches in total. So if you're up
You have to
against the wall, you
run.
you can't walk over the wall.
yeah, and it's like the wall has a 3/4 inch like thickness to it, and so
Mhm.
you add it up, it's like, oh, you can't make it to the other side. So sorry, that wall, that little 4-foot wall in front of you, the 30-foot colossal, just that stopped you.
Someone has painted a lot of barnacles on Brian Buds, it looks like.
Yeah, I can see that being a likely outcome. It does seem like the models are coming a little bit more into their own as far as having an identity. The Brian Bloods look really good. Of course, now that I'm seeing all the croaks, I'm like really loving like the little shaman, the spirit shamans.
The flavor is only
amazing.
getting better. Like I think the Brian Bloods were the first ones that started for me, where it was like this is its own flavor that's not just derivative of old Warmachine. And then they've kept it going. I think Gravediggers looks really good. Old Umber looks really
Yeah,
good.
and design too, but the way that these armies, the rules for them and the way that they play on the table is also we're starting to see with some of these armies that have come out this year and last year are really like they are very unique on how they
Gravediggers
play.
is very ambitious when it comes to their rule set of like dropping models in off the table, dropping equipment in off the table that you then modifies the stats of the models on the table. Gravediggers is really complicated.
Oh, interesting.
They have I love their little boxes. That's my favorite part of the army. The little drop boxes.
Yeah, they can
are
drop in
cute.
med crates to bring dudes back.
Yeah, you can airdrop jacks, or you could airdrop like
You can airdrop a
ammo.
jack? That seems terrible.
You can airdrop a gun for a jack that the jack that's already on the table now picks up and uses.
I like to think he just holds his arm up and just falls all anime style.
No,
Thank you, Papa.
It's like in Army of Darkness, you know, when the guy throws the chainsaw down at Ash, who's in the pit, and he just leaps up, and it just like connects in midair. That's
exactly
it.
Point. There you go.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was just looking at that troll with the hammerhead shark.
Yeah, strangely, the hammerhead shark is a melee weapon.
Which they got that from, oh my gosh, which expansion is World of Warcraft? Remember there was a dungeon, a beach type dungeon where one of the bosses fought you with a shark. That was his melee, weapon.
The shark has crit consume, so I think the shark eats you if he crits you. I think that's how it works. So that confirms that the shark is in fact alive somehow.
But yeah, it's been really cool to see what they've been doing, and it's been really exciting to like if we already see this with Gravediggers, like what unique cool thing is Old Umber going to do? Like what's their army?
It feels like Old Umber have a lot of tools, given all of their like sort of earth magic kind of stuff. I mean, again, a lot of the Circle of Boros influence, right?
Yeah, it looks like what they're going to do is have a lot of like transformation stuff where it's like this guy turns into a werewolf, this guy turns into a werebear, like that kind of stuff. So it's like sort of
like the Transylvania part of Khador.
Yeah, it seems that way. I don't know. It's I think it's a really cool idea. We'll just see how it works out. I wasn't sold on how Gravediggers were going to work, but they're very unique, so they seem to be pulling it off. I want some Mennonites, damn it.
I was back and forth on the Orgoth models, not to pick on the models necessarily too much, but when they first came out, I was like, these don't look like Orgoth models. But then like the newer ones seem like they went back to some of the old artwork. If you look way back, if you can find it.
Yeah, their second cadre was much more grotesque, much more monster, scary stuff. That's more like in the
the curse. Area. Yeah, the curse bound. Yeah, I kind of wish that they led with that, like the curse bound aesthetics versus the Sea Raiders. Yeah, because the curse bound models look really, really cool.
I mean, if they don't have the frowny faces of doom on them, like all over their armor, then they're just not Orgoth.
Okay. Not the sad souls.
No, for sure. Any chance to your knowledge, that we might see some models from Zoo? Is Menoth making a comeback? Anything in the AMA asking about that?
So there was a question about Menoth, and Matt Hart responded, and maybe something will happen at next Adepticon, which is exciting. But they wouldn't go into much detail.
And now I wait.
I mean, Menoth was done dirty. So there's a lot of people who are like, why? Like, bring him back, because they had a really cool aesthetic going on.
And for a fantasy game, I feel like, the fantasy-esque game, I feel like that's an aesthetic that we're really missing right now. Like, we don't have a paladin knight army in this fantasy world, and yeah, we're missing it. We want our.
Yeah.
I mean, mechanically, the Storm Legion kind of took like the knights in shining armor aspect and made it. They're all like mechano knights now. So, but mechanically on the table, they act very much like, hey, we're just a bunch of dudes who beat stuff with sticks. Like that's how they work.
Yeah, they're knights, but they're not paladins.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
That aesthetic would be nice to see, especially if they can bring it in a non-cynical way. You know, it's not like, oh, well, clearly it's always corrupt because we're so edgy. I would like to see just, I don't know, people trying to be good in the world, like having their army. That'd be cool.
Some good guy Menites. Hell yeah, I'm fully on board.
Well, that was the whole thing with Anson Durst. What's his name?
Anson Durst was the paladin.
He was the big potato paladin, and then Tristan was like the I see the future cleric looking guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the paladin one, because I thought took his people to Zoo during the Hengehold conflict, if I recall correctly.
Or was that Tristan? I thought Tristan did.
It might have been.
That was Tristan. Durst might have been along with him. It was all hazy. It was told by a homeless guy, remember?
Yeah.
Yep.
Fentanyl.
Tweeting on his cell phone.
But yeah, I mean, it'd be really cool to see them back. I know the last time we had a little chat about, bringing back Zoo stuff on my channel, there was some split opinions, but people who disagreed with me are wrong, and I would love to see Dino Riders.
No, please no.
Obviously, if you have airships, if you're going to introduce that,
you can have dinosaurs.
Give me some Dino Riders at that point.
You can have whatever Dino Riders you want. Just don't make them Menites, please.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
well, I assume they would be Menite, but in the same way that Storm Knights and Gravediggers are very different armies within the same faction. Right? So I would assume there would be something more akin to the regular Menites, but then also what would you call them? The Southern
Zunians.
Yeah, right. Like the
hate in the chat.
Yeah, the Menite missionaries. Like that faction, where they're coming back from their mission with newfound dinosaurs.
One of the things that they did mention during the keynote, and we're going to see this with the mini crate models, is I think their SFG is aesthetically looking to get away from some of the more comedic
and I agree with that.
And bring it back to a more grounded, gritty aesthetic.
And they need to get rid of airships. That's all I'm saying. Those, I don't know. I never felt like airships belonged in the Warmachine world.
What, the blimps?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, we are crutching on blimps really hard right now in House Callus land. So.
Yeah. I don't know. Not a fan of that. It just seemed like that seemed. Well, I mean, I guess literally, it's no longer grounded, but like it seems like that kind of removes it a little bit, like just the flying around stuff. I don't know. It changes it in a fundamental way.
There's always been like big flying beasts and stuff. Like the Archangel was in the what was the circle one? The Storm Raptor.
Mm. Yeah. But those, I mean, we live in a world of dragons. Or this is a world of dragons, right?
Yeah. So like I mean, even in a grounded sense, there were,
I mean, you got drop ships with the Gravediggers, so I think we're only going to see more flying.
We're moving really far in the future. That this is way past like, oh no, it's a dirigible.
So
to like, we're just dropping jacks out of the sky.
Well, yeah, and that's, I don't know. At that point, like, ride dinosaurs. You know what I mean? If you have, like I said, airships flying around.
The narrative event at Adepticon was fighting over a downed airship.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
That
was how oh my god, Stryker, I think, got killed in the Aftershock trilogy. There was a book series of him versus Strakov. Yeah. Strakov and a Rusk and dying from that because him and his mentor Magnus, they were on an airship. The whole thing took place on an airship. That last battle.
Oh.
This is all ancient history at this point.
Yeah, I mean it's ancient history now, so I mean presumably if they had airships at that point.
It's very World of Warcraft if you do
Mhm.
that. It's not, which is silly. You know what I mean? I like World of Warcraft, but it just wasn't the gritty, Warmachine, Full Metal Fantasy, like that sort of thing. It's just World of Warcraft more now. It's like
I'm playing a faction that has beasts that hits you with hammerhead sharks. Come on now.
I mean,
we're
if you're
all the
talking
way
about
there.
getting away from silly,
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
all the way
right.
there. Well, to be fair, my faction is kind of the comedic relief faction. Like we have the goofiest shit on purpose.
Yeah, that's true.
It's fair. Those little shaman guys look so cool though. Okay, so there was that. I know lots of people have wondered about the place of Menoth. I know there's been a lot of question as to where Scorn are at. Was that mentioned in the AMA?
Let me see if they.
I don't think there's been many rumblings on Scorn yet. I think they did ask, and they said they're at home licking their wounds or something like
Yeah.
that.
So, question was, what have the Scorn been up to in the last few years? Answer: great question. You clearly know your audience. Post Infernal War, the Scorn have returned to their empire, where Makeda consolidates power among the houses.
So
Okay.
they didn't do them as dirty as Legion, but they they're not currently. Doesn't seem to be coming back anytime soon.
For now, yeah.
Legion
I know
was just like, let's kill them all off and start over.
Yeah, Legion, because what is it? Chimera is picked up from Legion.
Yeah, Chimera is
Riot
Saren
or
and Rias, the
Saren?
twins. And then in the lore, maybe we shouldn't spoil everything. Let's maybe people can read the lore, I guess. But they had a big conflict with the original Legion in the current lore, and it was a big like Legion versus Chimera war.
Well, my understanding is I thought one of the twins left, went through the little space gate or whatever it was.
Yeah, Saren ran through, but her Athank didn't make it. It just kind of zapped out of her as she
stayed behind.
ran through.
One thing I really like that they're doing is how they transfer what's going on in the lore and the story onto the tabletop game itself. So I'll take the Shadows and Scum box that recently released. If you look at the Chimera models, in that box versus what's come out previously, they're more robotic looking. Like their wings are very sharp and angular and less organic looking. And I like seeing the evolution of the army. It's really cool. It's really interesting.
Well, yeah, they're clearly a lot more mechanical in nature.
Getting that Cirrus level up, I guess.
Cirrus and Cephalix, because I remember I was reading through some of the lore, and this is a couple years old now, so don't feel bad, saying it, but it's like Rias, I think, found an old Cephalix cave or
and she's like,
that's where she
went shopping in there, and so that's exactly. And she made new friends in there using the pieces of the Cephalix.
We're using the word "made" very loosely here.
Repurpose.
Yeah,
or literally
made new friends.
Constructed, like a maker space.
And then Dusk. Everyone in Ios became an Eldritch, I guess, and now we've got Dusk and
they got sad and died and then came back to as Eldritch, basically.
Yay, vampires.
So I mean, they're all just
so hard.
Just liches and vampires now, right? Is that
But they're quote unquote good guy liches and vampires. We don't know. They're weird. They're very esoteric.
I mean, Retribution of Syra was always kind of, you didn't really know where they stood.
Yeah.
As far as the lore goes for good or bad, they were out for their own means.
Yeah, in the lore, they're currently fighting against Orgoth, so they're good guys right now, I guess.
Or at least the House Callus, because the was something of Eternal Dusk. I forget what the whole title is, but they're just a sect within that greater.
Yeah, I guess we haven't seen any
community.
other houses in Dusk yet.
Yeah. I mean, there's houses in the lore. Like, I can't remember the whole name. I call it House Larry. Like, those guys are a little more bad. And House Callus are kind of like the good undead army.
And one of them has cats, I guess.
Yeah, them cats. Yeah, they went through a thing in January. So
They're still in every list. Don't lie.
Well, didn't the Scorn already have the cats though? Weren't they the
They
elves with cats?
These are
Yeah, the
spiky
Paradox
cats.
thing.
yeah.
The Scorn didn't have spiky cats. I feel like everything Scorn was spiky.
That's true. But the Scorn added their spikes in post.
Oh,
These cats are born spiky.
Yeah.
oh, I have not seen that. I guess.
They're feline porcupines. Here's of Nero.
So that's the second Dusk army that will be coming out. So we first saw their tag on the Ghost of Ios Cadre box. Yeah, the old PP box
So
had
the ghost box will work for them and
Mhm.
Callus.
Yeah.
Jerry, did anyone ask about Alexia Senor in the Risen?
Alexia's been in every edition.
She's in
I
the
can't
game.
imagine.
She's a merc in Mark IV.
Yeah, I just don't know if there's been any lore focused on her, but she's
Is there-
in every edition. You'd think there'd be something on her.
Is there a new model for her? Last one I
Mhm.
had was on a horse.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a new
Alexia
one.
4, right? Or what? Yeah, she was one of the original merc models to come out when the edition launched.
She
Oh,
works
okay.
for who is it? Kador and Sigmar?
Kador and Stern Legion. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is Alexia any older, or does she like not age because of the Witchfire Blade? Or, I mean,
I guess
you
that-
control the
haven't-
undead.
I mean, we
Haven't
have the
seen
model
lore.
downstairs. I think. Yeah, she just looks like not on a horse. I guess Alexia just not on a horse.
Alexia, Queen of the Damned, is her model. She does look older, actually, in the art. She looks dead. I'm gonna be honest. She looks pretty.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, she does. I'll share that.
She's had that sword probably a little too long.
It's draining back that life. It's like straight out of the craft and Warcraft. Warcraft mostly.
Yeah,
Looks like Lady Arthas.
She's
Yeah,
a Death Knight.
those are some pretty big pauldrons for her.
Well, okay.
So
Let's be
Warmachine
real.
never shied away from the pauldron.
First, he was always
Yeah, I know.
bold with the shoulders pads. I remember Vlad too.
Yeah, she's still
Like,
got nothing on
Yeah.
Vlad.
Anything.
No one does.
It was wonderful.
Half the warjacks in the game didn't have anything on Vlad.
Oh man. Yeah, I mean, there are so many because with the time jump, it's like I don't know what happened to Sorsha. I don't know. Like Vlad had a kid, I think maybe with Sorsha. Then there was also like some child from Queen Banar before she fled. And then
That's
the
why I
butcher's
kinda like-
gone like mad. He's mad at Kador now because he was always crazy and horrible and the worst written character in the whole game.
Pretty
so now
much,
he's
yeah.
evil.
Well, I think his story in Orgoth was he is a gosh, I don't know the Orgoth lore. I'm sorry, the chat and everybody else, but I think he's one of the the reincarnated souls of an old Orgoth general or whatever. So that was one of the reasons that
Apparently, was why he was a little crazy. And then
yeah, that's why he was crazy to begin with.
Mhm.
And that's why he's on the Orgoth.
Now he found his
fights
home.
Orgoth.
I guess I don't know.
So the butcher was a reincarnated Orgoth soul?
So
Apparently,
when their generals die, they're reborn, like their souls get put into new, and his was one of those souls that I guess awoken much later in life.
Huh.
So he's an old Orgothian.
this is a paraphrasing of the lore.
Yeah, I'm like
okay.
probably
Yeah.
bastardizing this lore. I'm sorry, you guys.
So-
but I think that's the.
I
clip.
do
But
like
yeah,
what they're doing now with a little. It's sort of a soft reboot where you're focusing more on new characters and less on the old characters. You get like
Mhm.
the occasional cameo, but I like that like they're going a different direction. Just make new flavorful characters. You don't have to depend on all the old ones the whole time.
Well, yeah, every iteration of.
I don't know.
I mean, the old Witch of Kador can keep coming back. She's fine.
Well, I was gonna say she's been around for thousands of years, and it's like, well, it's 20 years now. I mean, just because she's lasted for thousands, why would she still be around today? You know, you could think that for the Iron Liches, you know, for any of the not Scorn.
No, Crixian,
Crick
yeah.
stuff. You know, there's a lot of characters that should, in any kind of a realistic setting, you know, should still very much be around and relevant to the setting. Like, I don't mind if, you know, some of just the average normal human people or whatever, like, I don't know, Siege Brisbane. Well, he was a war hero, did his stuff, whatever, he's retired, he moved on. Now you have a new guy. But then there's other, you know, characters that would be definitely around still and still be very relevant. And I mean, you would think Ein Vanar, like whoever sits at the throne of Kador, should have something to do with her. You know, like.
Yeah, I would be very surprised if there's nothing in Old Umbry that's not an old witch model of some kind, right? Like,
yeah,
how would she not? How would she not show up in some fashion?
Right, you would figure she would. And I mean, Vlad was I don't know how old he was, but he was like the prince of Umbry. And so if you have an Umbrian faction, I mean, his offspring or him, or there's got to be some relevance to Vlad. And if not, then it feels like they're kind of throwing out the baby with the bathwater sort of thing.
I mean, they teased at Broker Brawl last year the horse lords of something, probably a cadre that might be coming out later on down the line, but that might be a way to
that might be another cadre for Old Umbry. We're not sure.
Yeah. No, I mean, if they pick it up, I mean, that's because you want to see at least some of the things you were familiar with. I'm fine with introducing new characters if it makes sense.
I'm fine with it as long as they still recognize that there was a history that came before this moment, you know, and that it's also relevant. And
a lot of them are like the sons and daughters of people. Like you mentioned Brisbane. I think Brisbane's daughter is a junior in Storm Legion right now.
I'm sure Kane's daughter is out there somewhere.
She's a caster. Yeah, she's a warcaster in Gravediggers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cynthia Roscoe is her name.
Cynthia Roscoe. Okay.
She didn't.
I remember reading the book. Last I left off,
apparently.
Scarred taken her. So.
It's funny. I used to. I had the little original Journeyman before they had the name Journeyman Warcasters for Signar, and it was a girl. So I always painted her. I painted her black and just said she was like Siege's niece, because there's only 2 black people now in all of Signar.
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny they actually did kind of do that.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that Scar took Cynthia, because she's especially good into undead for some reason. So
yeah, she's got special bonuses on her character when she fights undead models, which is really cool. Like to see, and that again, that's tying the lore and the fluff into the model on the tabletop,
which
is really cool.
In Mark II. That was actually always a cool thing about it. So I'm glad they're coming back.
I love it because like I'm very spotty with the lore stuff. Like I don't read everything, but if there's something interesting or a model that's interesting to me, I will go in the app and read the story about said model.
So there's little stuff like I mean, I guess to go back to Vlad, it just made me think of it. But Drago is the Warjack, been around. How old is he? A couple hundred years?
I think so.
And so, you know what I mean? The whole idea is, even whenever he looks at Vlad, I think he thinks Vlad is one of Vlad's ancestors. And so you would think Drago would still be around and just be taken up by the next, you know, person in whatever his lineage is. You know, and I mean, he's a cool Warjack that apparently could light his own boiler.
Well, it happened once, and it's a rumor.
How much fun is it to print another version of Draco, or to make another character Jack that's new and different and does different things, right? Like,
I think the new version of Drago is super fun. You know, you make new modifications because he's a Jack. You know, you add new stuff to him and then you put him back out. Like, I think that's super cool.
Wasn't he the Jack that like exploded if you used more than one focus on him?
Yeah, he's a berserker Jack. No, you just had to roll. It might explode. And that was all the berserker.
Somehow that has last 100 years. I don't know how.
No, he doesn't do that, but the berserker chassis does.
That chassis, yeah.
Yeah, and so he's a modified.
He does do it unless he's controlled by Vlad. Old lore, that's all I'm remembering. The old rules, I assume it's still that way. If he's under Vlad, then he does not need to make that roll.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I really like. I mean, you know, my favorite lady, the lore in all of my warlocks. All of them have a little pet familiar. It's a different animal. So there's a rule in each of my Warlock's cards that relate to that animal. So like Foulblood has a pet monkey. He's got monkey bite. And they're all on the model. Like they all have their pets like hanging out with them, which is really cool.
God. Okay. So, what is the hotness right now? What are you guys enjoying playing? I guess I heard Brine Bloods and I heard what Callus.
Yeah. So I'm a one girl kind of army. Like I hitch my wagon to that army and that's it. So
You're in a committed relationship. With
that's
this
right.
one?
Yeah, we don't wander too far. Yeah, just been playing a lot of Dusk, trying to navigate so this is my competitive brain talking. Trying to navigate a space where we're getting a lot of defensive skews on a very fast scenario packet with some of these scenarios. So it's been, for my army specifically, it's been difficult because my army doesn't have a lot of hit fixing outside of 2 casters and limited quantity of attacks. So if I get dumped into some sort of armor or def skew, it's a very common tactic for my opponent just to defeat and like run their whole army at me. Yeah, I don't know if SFG is listening, but it's not fun. So I'm hoping that with the Phantasm or the Cadra that's supposed to allegedly coming out later this year, that helps with some of that stuff. Because fundamentally, it's been rough since January.
Oh,
I am the thing she's complaining about.
It's true.
Shadows and Scumbox introduced Foulblood. So he's got a battle plan called Open Bar. He opens the bar and he makes all his dudes drunk that are within 10 inches of him. So I am a wall of stumbling drunk infantry. It's really funny.
That does sound pretty funny.
If I don't die, I stumble away from you, and now you have to do it again. That's
okay. And for
it's real
people, what about people looking to get into the game? How do you normally pitch what army someone ought to try?
We
usually go through like the initial couple Warmachine armies are the most similar. Like the Storm Legion, the Winter Corps, and the Orgoth. So if they want to do something simple, we usually kind of push them in that direction. But if they see something that really speaks to them flavor-wise, like if they want machine dragons, there you go, you got Chimera. If they want something goofy, you got Brine Bloods. If they want, everybody likes vampires, so some people really gravitate towards like the high undead. So you go there for Dusk. But
yeah, I'm big on like rule of cool, like what aesthetically looks appealing to you, and then go for that. Because if you open up the app and look at the armies, there's over 30 in there if you're counting the OG guys, so that can be very overwhelming. I will say for Nova, Delaware Warmachine, we have new Prime armies that we donate for, not donate for a weekend, but people can sign out while in the Warmachine area. So we saw huge success with that last year, people who would just walk in the Warmachine room, and we had brand new players playing on the narrative table. Like I think 2 people borrowed my Dusk army for that.
Speaking of which, you are, and that'll be happening again at Nova.
Yes. Yeah, this is all of our events.
That's all your events. Look at all these, a lot of events filling up. So if you're planning to go to Nova and you want to try some Warmachines, get in on it.
Yeah, and we have, if I can just plug it really quick, we have
plug away.
We have a very diverse menu of activities. So we have your tournaments, your IG qualifier, we have Brawl Machine, we have narrative, we have 2v2
blind date.
2v2 blind dates, actually. Okay, so low key, I love Thursday. 2v2 blind date so Thursday is our icebreaker day for the most part. So you come up, it's a 50-point list, and we pair you with somebody else at that event, and that's your partner for the event.
Oh, okay.
So we try and make it not super skewy. Like we'll put a warlock with a warcaster, or we make sure we don't put 2 like range casters together. It's a lot of fun. And then Thursday night is Trash List Thursday, and that's where you make the worst unoptimized 50-point list you can make, like Infernals with no marked souls, or like Hazaroth with all living guys, so like nothing synergizes together, or like Hunter Head melee tyrants just to be fun. So we have special awards for the least optimized you can make your list.
It's the least serious event we could make, because this is one of those things where it's like, even the people making the list are going to be as serious about making their list as bad as possible. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
This is our first try at this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Thursday's just more of a hangout, get to know the people that you're probably going to be like with all weekend. So yeah, that's kind of what Thursday is, and then Friday rolls into our
IG
tournaments.
qualifier.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think we start narrative that day, and then Saturday is our big team event.
Legendary Narrative Day. So that is that a multi-day event?
We'll
Oh,
be
go ahead,
running
babe.
it for multiple days. Yeah,
Mhm.
Oh, I see.
it'll be the same narrative, but it'll be multiple days that we're running the narrative storyline.
Gotcha. And then you've got also Warmachine that day, and then Saturday team tournament.
And
What's
then completely-
NAWL? What am I missing?
NAWL is the unofficial sponsor of the team tournament. It's the North American WarTable League is what we were talking about on what we do on WarTable, but it really has nothing to do with it. I'll be honest. It's just a name for it.
Gotcha.
So the special thing we have for that is if you play online in the league and you come to Nova and play, it's an open tournament. Like you don't have to play online to play in this thing. And you come and play in the NAL in person, we have special pins to get those players. You just have to play in one online game before Nova.
They have a narwhal on them.
Yeah, it's really cute. And then some feedback that we got last year from everyone that was in the tournaments during the day, they really wanted to play narrative, but we weren't running a session at night. So we ended up cutting our afternoon and moving it to the right. That way, if you're playing in a steamroller or the team tournament during the day and you want to play narrative at night, we have narrative at night now.
Yeah, I can only do narrative for 10 hours a day on the last year. So we got more people running narrative this year.
We had people wanting to pay Andy. Like he was so tired. Him and David Lee, they were both so tired. They're like, how much money do we have to pay Andy to run one more iteration of this? I'm like, he's in bed. Leave him alone.
Yeah. Let the men sleep. Well, cool. I love seeing this amount of like representation for it. I mean, people still lean into the tournament stuff, but I want to see the narratives really grow, and those tables looked really cool. I liked that you had, I assume it'll be kind of the same thing where you had a GM at the tables.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
one thing that we also found is day of tickets. So what we did last year was we had QR codes for each day. So it's like, hey, if you didn't sign up for something and there's still tickets available, this is just a quick link for it. And we found a lot of people would pick up tickets day of because they
especially for narrative.
They see the table. They're like, yeah, I want to play on that. And we ended up selling out a lot of events day of.
Oh, wow. Well, good on you.
Which is exciting. Yeah, it's super exciting. And we're so thankful for the community who, everybody who travels and spends their time, takes off work to come play. Like it's really humbling for our team to see that room completely packed. And we're really honored and so excited to be able to provide that for our players. So, thank you. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Good on you. Way to go, Warmachine people. I love seeing
Warmachine people.
Well, before we end, I usually end, or the last part of my live stream usually involves going over. So I'll post that we have a live show on Facebook, and then people will post what it is they've been working on over the week. So I will be sharing that here, and we can kind of take a quick look. There's not too many, but we've got some very talented people who follow my channel, and I need to share it. But first, we have to start off with a dog.
Aww.
Apparently, he's responsible for this.
Oh no!
Bad dog.
Bad dog.
You can't.
That does look like a Warmachine model.
I was gonna say you can't buy that anymore. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't understand what's happening.
Is that
here.
a push mold? Looks like a push mold right there. That's that reshapeable stuff where you add heat to it and you can press a new shape. So
he's trying to mold a K-Door jack is what he's doing.
Trying to mold some pieces or something to go on a base or something. I don't know.
Nice. Yeah. So that unfortunately happened, but so sorry, Charles. Hopefully, better luck next week. Dexter, who
looks cool,
has been working for weeks on these really beautiful, well, not I think sea themed train tables. Oh my gosh, he's so talented. This is scratch built stuff. This is like
Yeah.
Oh wow.
popsicle
We need
sticks
that on a
and
War Machine table.
styrofoam.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what
It's beautiful.
is this for that Blood and Plunder game?
I
That
think so. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I know
Dexter,
that they were doing they were doing some demos for their new game that's not sea battles. It's
It's
like
like
little skirmishes.
Mordheim. It's like their Mordheim version.
Yeah, I don't
Oh,
remember what
cool.
it was called, but yeah, this looks exactly like this fits in that
Mhm.
definitely.
No, I mean it's just absolute masterful skill here.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's
Like
cool.
he's got the interior too.
Oh, look at
Nice. Look at
that.
the little holes. You got murder holes.
Everyone needs a good murder hole. Here you go, little extra layer.
Oh.
I mean,
Little
it's
bucket. A little
such
barrel.
perfect RP level stuff, and I
Yeah.
think that's styrofoam carved for the stones.
Mm.
So, thank you, Dexter. Good job as always. I mean, you really keep knocking it out of the park. We've got
It's
Jeremy
really
with his unpainted dudes, but they look. What
Are
did
they
you say
Turtle
they were?
Warriors?
Oh, are those the D&D ones? What are those guys called? The little
Finished
turtle
yeah,
turtle
medieval
faction.
war turtles.
Turtles.
And Van
That's
Star mech
adorable.
suits. Van Star mech suits. Yeah. So
Hang on, I'm
thank
gonna look it up.
Turtlemans.
Turtles. We like turtles.
Mm.
Jerry in the chat here with his
Give him the
model.
clamps.
This is his freebooter, Brusco. And then he also has his
Some
Mariner.
Yeah.
and Patio, I believe. But good glow effect on the face there. A little green.
I like the little decals.
So he free-handed like the flowers and stuff here.
Oh, cool.
So
Nobody
yeah,
cares.
it's-
And nobody cares.
I like the rust on the anchor too. That's cool.
Did you see his shoulder?
yes, nobody cares. Aw. But he looks great. So good job. Thomas. Okay, so we got an award-winning
Ooh.
painter in here. Thomas Grable is a fantastic artist. I've got
Got some Brian
Some
Blood Marauders.
Brian's.
mm-hmm.
I like the bases.
Those are my boys.
Yeah, no,
And
they look
girls. There's
great.
girls in there too.
Straight out of comic, right?
Mhm.
Even the detail into the mouth, our tongue. I mean, holy cow. So Thomas always bringing his A
Yeah.
game.
They look great.
So Brian had posted, he said that this was at Adepticon. Let me see what he said again. If I can click on stuff. He said that he ran horde mode at Adepticon. So I guess there's, I don't know, hengehold horde mode hijinks. I don't know if you guys were familiar with that happening at Adepticon.
I have no idea what this is.
Well, it's a thing he made with fun little rules. But yeah, horde mode fighting.
Did you see this, lady?
I remember seeing some rumbling or chatter about it online. I think on Warmachine
it's a
community.
zombie survival mode. It looks like that's cool.
Yeah. So thank you for sharing that. So I don't know if that'll make a
cool.
resurgence anywhere else, but those are super fun. Before we started the chat, I mean, we're kind of ending on the Warmachine note, which is very exciting. But I know you've been playing a video game this last while. I
gosh.
guess.
Oh, no.
Oh yeah, I gotta plug it. So I just beat Expedition 33, Clair Obscura. That is one of my top favorite games of all time. Highly recommend. It is art through and through. I beat it a couple days ago. I'm still thinking about the ending. I can't wait for Andy to finish or to play it and finish it so we can talk about it.
You're gonna need to give me a couple months, lady. I got.
Yeah,
I need time.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I love it. Yeah.
Looks pretty. I'm still just playing like private server World of Warcraft because unless it's a Zelda game, I'm just apparently stuck in the past. But it looks really pretty.
It is. It's everything about it. It's I want to get on the PlayStation because I want it on the TV with I want to be on the couch with the speakers and just completely immerse myself in this world. Because I've when I first saw the reveal trailer for it, I'm just like, boom, this is it. I cannot. This is my game for 2025. I cannot wait for it to come out. But yeah,
how long did you play for? What's the gameplay hours on that?
I think I beat it in 30 hours. But
Okay.
Yeah, it's not super. It's super long. Yeah, it's great. I
She
loved
played
it.
it for
I loved
like
it.
2 weeks straight. Like
I did.
I
You-
mean, okay. So my favorite game growing up, this is the thing that got me like obsessed with video games to begin with, was like Ocarina of Time, and that boasted 80 hours of gameplay from start to finish if you were
Nice.
doing everything. So I always assumed that was like a benchmark, but as I've
Yeah.
gotten older and played other games, I'm like, I don't want this game to be so long. I just want to kind of
Yeah, so
one and done it.
you can like clear the main story quests like in 30 hour, like under 30 hours, and then like it's open after you beat it. So like you beat the
Okay.
main game and then you can still keep playing essentially.
Nice.
But yeah, I highly recommend it. I ugly cried a few times while playing.
Yeah, it seems like it has some, I don't know, like emotional horror kind of stuff going on there. Like a lot of interesting aesthetics.
Yeah, it's very it's very deep. The themes, like I don't want to go into the themes because it's
Spoiler.
spoilery. Yeah, but like when you get it, it's like, oh gosh, like it really makes you think and feel, and it's great like to have that kind of medium where you walk away and you're still thinking about it in your head. It's really cool what they did.
Yeah, I love it. Some movies used to
Highly
be.
recommend. Yeah.
Well, Andy, Erica, thank you so much for joining me tonight and chatting about Warmachine. I love what you guys are doing with the community. Like seriously, hats off to you. All the hats, you guys are fantastic. I can't wait to catch up with you at Nova. Don't be too busy. We have to go to dinner.
Yeah, no, most definitely.
And
I
I
would
don't
love
know,
that.
maybe I'll bring an army this time because it sounds so fun to go hang out with you guys.
Yeah, come on, narrative. We got we're still waiting on the official word. But Paul and Andy have been cooking something up. That's really exciting that we can't wait to share. We got a couple surprises for you guys.
I'm just gonna need to make it happen. So Company of Iron. Yeah, Company of Iron was lovely. Let's see. I feel like people are gonna want to see Warcaster before they see Company of Iron though.
Yeah. No, thank you so much for inviting us on and talking about Warmachine. Thank you everybody who came out to hang out with us tonight and chat and talk about Warmachine. We're so excited. And
it was a lot of exciting things.
Yeah, and we will be filming our Maze Bat Rep soon. There he is.
Oh, there he is. He popped out of the
popped out of the ether. Look at that. And disappeared just as quick.
I am the green screen.
But no, thank you so much, and we're so looking forward to Nova as well.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, you guys have a great night. We will be hanging out in the chat for a few more minutes, so don't worry. If you have other questions or anything you want to ask in the chat, I'll definitely try to respond to all of those. Otherwise, we'll be back in 2 weeks on May 28th, and it's going to be more of a game design panel kind of setup. So be sure to tune in for that one. And yeah, thank you again, Erica, Andy. We'll see you next time.
Good night, everybody.
Night, guys.
Bye.
Barry, cover me.
All right, guys, this is it. Copy that. No more sandwiches, Barry. What's wrong with this place? I'm in the west corridor. I'm right outside the generator room. I'm out of bullets.